Hey, you know what? It's teamwork makes the dream work because I wouldn't have known that we weren't live if it wasn't for Joanne. Joanne sent me a message. You guys aren't live right now. So she's the one that let me know.
Thanks, Joanne. Appreciate that.
Joanne's amazing. Guys, if you just now signing in, let us know where you're signing in from. See, I said, I wouldn't get any comments. I was like, man, they must be really shy today. What's going on? But apparently they just didn't know we were on because we didn't actually go live. All right. So I think we are actually live. So what we're going to talk about today, our main subject is how do we look great on camera? Because we are in a virtual world. This is part of life today. We're going to be doing virtual meetings. I'm curious, those of you who are with me today, tell me what do you think? How often were you doing virtual meetings before COVID? Okay.
Never.
Okay, so Catherine says never. Okay, how about you,
Yeah,
Carl?
I did. With school, we had some with WebEx meetings with different professors from different universities. But before that, nothing that I was in control of was always invited or a part of.
I was doing it, but not near as often. But guys, if you're just signing in, let us know where you're signing in from. Let us know what questions you have about looking good on camera, having a great virtual meeting. We're going to talk about all the crucial components of having a great virtual meeting. We're going to talk about things like the virtual backgrounds. We're going to talk about lighting. We're going to talk about sound, all the stuff that makes a good experience. So if you're looking for a job, this is incredibly important because you want to make a great first impression, right? If you're selling a product or a service, you want to be able to sell your product or service in the best way. And that's going to be part of that. It's going to be looking good on camera and talking to you, be able to easily converse with whoever you're trying to have that selling, selling and buying proposition with. So anyway, I want to go ahead and just, while we have them here, I'm really excited about my panel today. I've got Catherine, who is great with marketing. Catherine O'Donnell, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Wallace. Appreciate you having me.
And then I've got Mr. Carl Sean Watkins. He's a coach. He's a mentor. He's going to school to be a lawyer right now, which is amazing to me. Welcome to the show, Carl.
Thanks a lot, Wallace. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah. And then we got Miss Lisa Henry. Lisa Henry, she's piping in from her car, but she's going to do it safely with us today. Welcome to the show, Lisa. Okay, so she's waving to us, which is great. All right, so Joanne, hopefully we are actually on live. Is that correct? Okay, she says yes, we are good. So that was the real run. We did the practice run before. Now we're doing the real run. Let's just talk about a couple of things that are very important, I think, to look good on camera first, and that's going to be, of course, obviously the camera. We could talk a little bit about that. I want to answer any questions you guys have about cameras. And I start off baller on a budget. Okay. So I didn't want to go all out on some big expensive camera. So I can tell you how to do it low priced, as well as if you want to go a little higher, we can talk about that. Also lighting is very important. And then also just how you have yourself and your background in the frame, how you position things makes a difference. And as I'm looking at your framing right now, as I look at Catherine, she's got great framing. She's right in the middle of the frame, which is good. Her head is in the middle of the frame, which is great. And then Carl, similar. In fact, Carl, he almost looks like he's connected with his picture, right? He's got the picture perfectly there. His head is in the center. So it's like, yeah, you're the focal point there.
I'm at the table with Jesus right there.
Well, you know what? You can't be at a table with a better person. That's for sure. And so thank you for that. And then Lisa doesn't have quite the perfect frame, but she's in her car, guys. We got to give her some props for that, for being in her car. So we'll give you some props.
How about that?
Hey, look, there we go. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's see. There we go. How about if I give you this? See? All you guys deserve that. Appreciate that. Yes. All right. So, guys, if you're just now signing in, let us know where you're signing in from. We want to help make sure you look awesome on camera, that you're able to have good virtual experiences with the people that you're talking to, whether you're interviewing for a job or whether you're interviewing a candidate. That's also adds to candidate experience too. So recruiters, as well as those who are candidates, hiring managers, they should be looking at this. Those who are looking to sell a product or a service, I think that's very good. If you're doing coaching, anything where you're interacting with folks virtually, this is going to be a good session for you, I believe. So we talked a little bit about framing. I see sometimes we have folks who they frame kind of off to the sides. And if you want to have some dramatic effect, if you've got something really nice that you want to show, perhaps you want to put yourself to the side. I would say in most cases, just keep it simple and be in the center. That's what I would suggest. Now let's talk about lighting. Does anybody want to volunteer? Where do you think the best lighting comes from?
That's natural light.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. See, you deserve that right there.
But so many of us are in offices with windows closed, and we can't really use natural lighting a lot of times. So we need artificial lighting.
Very true. But let's just pretend you have natural lighting. Now, this is one mistake that I see a lot. And I just want to help everybody out. Just in case you have natural lighting, the way I see natural lighting misused the most is they have the natural lighting behind them or to the side of them. Mm-hmm. If any way possible, please have the lighting in front of you. So like, here's my window here. I got a window here. So I'm going to get the absolute best lighting if I'm facing here. Now, I don't necessarily face that way because I do have artificial lights that help me out where I can actually turn this way and I'm okay. But if you don't have the artificial lights and you're using natural lighting, or even if you have artificial lights, it's better if you can face the source of natural light and don't have it behind you. Okay. So that's one of the things I'll definitely suggest. And we got some folks coming in already. And folks, as you're coming in, if you have questions, please give us your questions, your feedback, your comments. I'm sure we'll get some great tips from you guys too. We got Joanne is here. We have Sue Bunnell. Welcome, Sue Bunnell. She's coming in from Gainesville, Georgia. Welcome. Oh, we have DJ D. We both know DJ D, right, Carl?
Yes, absolutely. That's my silver fox.
All right. She says, how are you, Ross? I'm doing great. She says, hi, Rev. All right. Hi, Rev. Carl Sean Watkins. Awesome.
For people don't know, just quick, the Rev, I got that nickname from being with Brian Shulman. He gave me that nickname. He said it just rolled off his tongue, and I'm always preaching. So he just put it together for me.
Okay, got it. Okay, appreciate that. All right, so yeah, so we're all a community, guys. If you want to connect with each other, feel free to connect with each other while you're here. Let us know how virtual meetings going better and looking better. How would that help you? What area would that help you in? So quickly, before I move on to something else besides the natural light, I'm going to go into artificial lights. Any comments you guys have on any of this that we've discussed so far? I want to make sure I'm open to any tips you have or any questions.
I do have a question around with artificial lights. I went through quite a few, and the ring lights seems to be horrible. I have two now that I utilize, and they just did not show things in a well light for me. Especially, I guess, with being a glasses wearer also. You probably can see the circle in my eye. And I've tried them on the sides, like you said, to try to give me that like ambiance of light. Mm-hmm. And it just does not work for me, especially if my sunroom that I'm sitting in, if it gets, a cloud comes in and it gets dark, I go into shade. So what is kind of like the best light? Maybe I might be jumping the gun and asking, but what is kind of the best light that I can buy? Because I've ordered like quite a few from Amazon, and they're just sitting in the garage now. I'm really not satisfied with the ones I've purchased.
Okay, that's a great question. And one of the things that I've done too with Amazon, and maybe you guys have made the same mistake, I know I have, is sometimes I don't pay close attention to how big it is. Like I don't look at the dimensions. And so by the time I get it, I ordered these lights one time, and the lights were literally this big. And I was expecting to be like from the floor up to here, and they're like this big. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So what I ended up doing, I'll show it to you. I was like, man, I got a great deal on these lights. These are amazing. It's a great price.
It looks like the one I bought.
But it's itty bitty. You can't. So okay, this is still good though. What you can use this for is use this for your green screen. Okay, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. So if you use a virtual background, use this to light up your green screen. Or if you don't have a green screen, you can use it to light up your real background. So like for instance with Catherine, that's like a real background. That's not virtual, right?
Right.
Okay. So she may want to light up the front part of that nice Japanese looking, what do you call that?
I like that.
It's look cool looking. I mean, she doesn't need it, but I'm saying she could light it up if she wanted to. Like over there where the printer is, where it's a little dark below there. If she had like another little, picture frame or something below there, and she wanted to light it up, she could use something like this to help light that up. Okay. But if you got a green screen, this is golden. Okay. I'm telling you guys, it's not all about just lighting you. It's also lighting your actual green screen behind you to give it the really crisp look. And I'm going to show you how that makes a difference. Okay,
now,
so that was
my Mac says I have a green screen, but when I do, because I've downloaded some
okay.
for meetings, for Zooms, but like when I sit in them, it's like I'm coming in and out of them. Is that
Right.
why that light makes it better for you?
Run up for me one more time. Say it again now.
Like when I put mine in, like you can download like backgrounds for your meetings. So I have one from my fraternity that I put on the background. It's like an office with the symbol at the top.
Yeah.
But when I go into that, when I go into that, you know what? Actually, I probably could. No, it won't let me do it. I was going to say maybe it will let me show it, but it wouldn't let me show it on here. But when I bring it in, like my body like comes in and out of it, like like it's like I'm wearing it instead of it actually being a background.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so are you getting a little thing? You've probably seen this a lot, where like it kind of wavers around your head. It doesn't fit quite around your head. Okay, that's all lighting. That's 100% lighting, and because here's the camera's trying to do. And guys, I'm not a pro, right? I just learned this stuff hard knocks, okay? But the camera's trying to figure out which part is your head and which part is the background. And because it can't figure itself out, it keeps readjusting back and forth. And so that's why it looks all kind of crazy looking around your head. Okay. So we want to make it easy for it to figure out what part is us and what part is our background. And the way you make it easy is with lighting. The more lighting you can have, the better it's going to be at being able to tell the difference between what is Carl's head versus which one's the picture.
Okay. Makes sense.
So, I'm gonna show you what I like. This is when it comes to lighting. Some of the more popular lighting. We'll go over this. Let me show you on the screen here. Okay. You can tell me. I'm gonna move this other thing out of the way for a second here. Okay. All right. So you can see my. Let me move this over. You can see it. You can't see it yet. One second here. All right. So now you can see it.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things you're going to see people use a lot is they'll use. Let's see here if I can get the right one. I'm just going to click here. I see people use these a lot, and I used to have those. Any of you guys have those? Okay.
I have a GMA or GVM. I'm sorry.
Okay, so maybe you guys in the comments, let me know if you have these right here. This is a popular one besides the ring lights. Carl talked about the ring lights earlier. Ring lights, to me, is better than nothing, but it's probably not optimal. Okay, so I like the old saying, you start where you are, right? So we just work with what we have at the moment. But whenever you get some extra change, extra little pop, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you where to put the extra money. So this one right here, what's that?
So I'm ready to graduate. These ring lights, they killing me.
So on the left-hand side here, you can see that there's the umbrellas. That's one popular style. So you buy the bulb, it sits in there, and it's got the umbrella on the other side. And guys, if you use photography, connoisseurs, and all this terminology, feel free and put it in the comments. I'm just a layman who just learned how to use this stuff. Okay. All right. So on the left-hand side, you got the little umbrellas with the bulbs. The right-hand side, you got the ones where it covers the whole thing. I've had both of these. And again, start where you are. If you have this, don't throw it away. It's still useful. So I'm not saying you don't use it, but these are not optimal. The ones on the right, the reason why I don't like them as much is because they have to be too close. I wish I had this picture. It's really funny. Where I'm doing my lives. This is like back in 2020, early 2020. And literally the lights are like right here.
Oh, wow.
For it to look good, you have to be really close, because if it was too far away, it just didn't have the same effect. Anyway, so Catherine's shaking her head. Have you had that happen?
Yeah, I did the same thing when I ordered it. I didn't really pay attention to size, and it came and it's humongous. And then for me to actually have it really close by, it's a little blinding.
Yeah.
So in my office, though, I have to push it up towards the ceiling, so it still lights up around me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give me actual direct light. Yeah. And I have another challenge too, where right behind me, I have a lot of natural light in my office. And so that's the reason why I got the screen, was because you could still see that natural light, but it was kind of blocking what was coming in.
Okay, so this will be helpful to you, because what I'm going to show you next. Oh, by the way, Pamela Lindemann, welcome, Pamela. Glad you're here. She says good afternoon. Okay, so I'm going to show you the ones that I ended up buying, and I love them. I absolutely love these lights. These are my jam right here. Okay, so these are the ones I use. These are LED lights, and they're the panel lights. Okay, so it's different from the other thing we just showed you. Obviously, you can see it's different, but it's just the panel itself. And then you can have a little thing that slides in. It slides in the front of that. And you can, if you want to add a dramatic effect, you can add like a purple or a pink or orange or whatever, but you can slide in those different things. I don't use that because I'm using the virtual backgrounds. So I don't need to use that personally. But if you don't have a virtual background, you don't want to do the like whole green screen thing. You can just use this, and then to add dramatic effect, you pop in a different color. And so what you can do is really kind of cool. Is let's say with Carl, we work really good with Carl, possibly with Catherine right now. But let's say you wanted to kind of change the aura of the room and make it more blue. Then you could slide in a blue one, and it'll have more of a cool blue look. And he can even change the color of the wall behind him. Like he could take those same LED lights, point them towards the wall, and then make the wall look kind of bluish. So some guys, if you watch YouTube, they'll do that. They'll add some dramatic effect. They'll put it in the different colors. I don't choose to do that because, like, again, I'm going to show you. I use the virtual backgrounds. But these are right here are great. They're only $172. You get two of them. I bought them on sale several times for about $160. You can go on Amazon right now. They're probably about $160. They usually range between $150 and $175 at any given time. But you get two of them, and they come with a carrying case and the stand. Everything you see, that's what it comes with. So
those you set up in front of you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad you said that, Carl. All right. So I got one that's right here, and I got one that's here. Neither one of them point straight or directly at me. That's how powerful these are. In fact, if I pointed these at me all day, I would have a headache. It would literally give me a headache. Okay. Let me show you my other screen where you can kind of see it. All right. So you see it? See that one there?
Yeah.
And then there's my window, and then there's the other one. Okay. And then there's my green screen. And what's important about your green screen is you want to make sure that you have good coverage. So you notice how the whole green screen is very bright. Mm-hmm. If you find there's parts of your green screen that's very dark, you want to try and get rid of those as best you can. And that's where those little bitty small cheap lights can help.
Okay.
Because if I didn't have them little small cheap lights, it would make it much harder for me to have the nice clean effect you see right now. So I've got two lights that none of them are shining directly on me, but it's enough light. It's okay. It's enough light on me, but it's going directly towards my green screen. It's lighting up my green screen. You want to make it as easy as possible. Now, once you do get that set up like that, what you can do to help adjust. Okay, let me do this here. I'm going to show you this. Mm-hmm. Lisa.
I fell asleep.
That's okay. That's all right. This is what's cool about live TV, man. You know, y'all seeing the real us, okay? This is real life going on, guys. All right.
Live. I work an overnight shift. I work overnight shift.
I know. She works a lot of hours, but she still took her time to be here with us. All right. So let me just show you something really fast on here. So some software will do this. You don't have to worry about this with Zoom. But just in case, those of you who are live streamers, there's certain software that you're going to use. It's called Chroma, which Chroma is the name of the color I have behind me. That the virtual green screen, that's Chroma, right? So if I'm doing what we call chroma keying, and I take myself, which is this here, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, you know what? Let me match up what's behind me. I want to match it up with this little color picker here. And so I click on this, and it's going to try and match up the color as best it can. And then now I'm going to bring it back, and it looks clean. Okay, so I'm able to basically match it up. That's how you can really, really fine tune it. This is not necessary. I'm just showing you something extra. On Zoom, you don't need to do this. Zoom, it does it automatically. So just make sure you get a green screen. It should be able to do it automatically. What were you going to say, Catherine?
I just wanted to add too that, if you're looking to brand yourself, for instance, and say your branding colors are blue or they're, like a lighter color, you can always kind of put that in as your branding, as your consistent colors.
Yes. So see now, Carl. See here. This is perfect. What he's doing. So
I changed it so I can let you see what I was talking about.
Yes. So it thinks that Carl and his shirt is the background. It thinks that's what it's confused. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what's the background. It doesn't know what Carl is. It just doesn't know. Where if he had a green screen behind him, it would know that everything that's not that color is supposed to be the background. That's why you wouldn't want to wear something green in front of a green screen, because it'll look like it's invisible. Did you guys ever see Anchorman? So okay. There's a funny scene in the movie where he's like, "I have no legs," because he wore green pants, and because they use a green screen for the weatherman. It looked like he didn't have, it looked like he didn't have legs. So he's like, "Oh, my legs are gone. I don't have legs." So that's what happens. So you don't wear green. I had to learn it the hard way. Do not wear anything green-ish when you're in front of a virtual green screen, because it's going to think that whatever that is in green, it's going to think it's part of the background.
But it's blue.
Well, in your case with Zoom, you don't have a virtual green screen, right? So it's going to try and look at any consistent color. So it's choosing blue. It thinks your background is blue when it's not. It's actually your shirt. So, but it doesn't know that. It's just not enough light. It's not enough for it to work with. Zoom, you could technically get a different color, and it would serve the same function as a green screen for Zoom, because it's customizable that way. All right. So I don't want to get stuck too long on it, but I just wanted to make sure that I answered y'all's questions. Any more questions about the green screen? Let me show you some another example too. Like right here, this is obviously not my office. This is just a normal green screen. Now in Zoom, I know what I want to show you. Let me show you this. Let's see here. I'm going to show you. This is really cool. All right. So I'm going to show you in Zoom how you would actually change your background. Okay. All right. So we're going to assume for a second that you do have a green screen. We're just going to assume you have a green screen. We're also going to assume that you did the lighting that we talked about. You got the lighting of your green screen is in place. You've done it perfectly. What you can do here is you can actually add video or audio. Not audio, video or picture, excuse me. So hit the little plus sign here, and I have an option for either image or video. If you use video, here's a little trick. I think this will be kind of cool. You guys will like this. So the next time you see a very nice background that you would like to catch as your virtual background, what I want you to do is whip out your phone, make sure it's in 1080p, which is the full HD version. You don't need to go higher. Don't go 4K. Don't make it too big. Do like a 1080p regular size. Make sure it's sideways so you get the widescreen format. Make sure that it's stationary if you don't have a tripod. You just got to hold real still and record about 15 seconds. Just hold it real still and do 15 seconds. You do those 15 seconds and you stop recording. And then when you go back to your computer, it has to be an MP4 format, I think. You might be able to take iPhone format, but I think you may have to have MP4. So if you don't have an MP4, you may have to convert it. But anyway, you can take that and upload that as a video here, and that can be your virtual background. That way you can kind of customize it to you, your area, where you're from, whatever it is. If you want to get really creative, I guess I've never tried this before, but you could maybe record a few seconds of a room in your house and do something kind of fun. Like one of our team members, Jonathan, what he did, he has this thing where he recorded his room, his same room, and he recorded him coming out of, like, I think it was the bathroom, or coming like in from the hallway and then going back out. And so while he's sitting, his virtual background is as you're seeing him, he has himself going in and out of the room. It's really funny. Anyway, you could do something where you could have people behind you walking back and forth or whatever. Let me show you. I'm gonna see if I can show you an example I want to show you an example where the audience would see it. I don't know if no, I don't think I can do that. But it's kind of funny. I have this one where my wife and I were at the park not too long ago, and we recorded it. And I said, "Okay, Jody, I want you to walk right here, right here." So I had her walking, and it would reset, and so it would have her basically walking behind me as I'm in the as I'm in the meeting. It has her walking, and it doesn't even have her face. It just all you can see is the back of her head. So it's just me who knows it's her. But you can just do a little fun like that, or like I was at a park the other day, and it was a nice little couple. I couldn't just so far away you can't make out this couple, but it's just a couple sitting on a bench. Has some other people kind of playing in the background, so they know if I'm on a meeting with someone, they know I'm not there. But it looks like it's kind of cool because they're moving. They see people back there, even though they can't see who they are. So it's not super distracting. It's just kind of calm. So you can do fun stuff like that, or you can just keep it simple and add an image. Now, one of the ones that I was in a meeting the other day with Shanae, right? And she said she liked this one. She liked this particular one. So you can pick just straight ones. So it's like if you're going to go to Envato, Envato, or if you use some of the other programs that are out there, they come with Canva. Canva has this. You can go into Canva and go and make sure you pick the 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080, that's full HD. So you pick that, and then you can choose whatever colors you want. So if you want to type in Canva, I want blue backgrounds, or I want, gray backgrounds, whatever background you want to pick. If it's a business meeting, you probably want to keep it simple. I usually use for business meetings, I'll use a straight, like a blue or something like that. It's kind of simple. But if I'm having kind of a fun meeting, that's where I would do my wife walking behind me or something like that. Okay. Any questions before we move forward? Is this helpful?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other questions do we have? Do other questions about what other stuff? Like I can talk about captions. I can talk about editing. I can talk about cameras. I can talk about sound. Hey, Megan Smith is here. She says, Austin, Texas. Howdy. Well, howdy back. I'm right here in Houston, Texas. We're not too far away from you, Megan. Welcome. So what questions do we have in the comments or here? What questions do we have? And while you're thinking about that, I do want to ask a question. Okay, who wants to answer this first?
Go ahead.
Okay, Carl, are you old school or new school?
Old school, man.
Why you say that?
I'm just an old soul, so I just gravitate with the old school. I was a teenager with grown friends. I just always was that kind of guy. So
okay, cool. By the way, tell us about what you do really briefly.
Right now, busy. I'm a law student, attending law school, studying to be a civil rights attorney. I also added family attorney to that, so I'm doing a dual on that major, if you want to call it. In my business, Carl Sean Watkins Consulting, I offer services, and I say that in the essence of I'm not a consulting business. I have consulting services, and I do that in the dynamic of leadership, mentoring, speaking, and also mentoring. So that's what I also like to tell people, and that's how I frame my business. I am not a consultant. I offer consulting services. So there's some dynamics to my business that will be able to interest you.
Love it. Okay, that's great. And also the fact that you entered law school at such a nice, mature age is also pretty wonderful. But I do want to see what my audience thinks about that. Let's see. Well, they seem to like it too, which is great.
Your audience, man. I got to get them on my payroll.
Yeah, I love them too. Okay, so I have a question for either one of you other two. Which one wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay. Give me, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Kind, genuine, and caring.
Kind, genuine, and caring. I like that. So why'd you pick kind first?
Because I like helping people.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Well, I love being helped.
Right?
Who else? Who doesn't love being helped? That's wonderful. Tell us about what do you do, Catherine?
So I co-founded a company called OP Creative Communications so that I could help nonprofits with their branding, communications, fundraising efforts. And when I created this company, there was also a significant need. And this is something that I've started kind of with this bridge that I offer, is that I help high net worth individuals optimize their giving. So I vet target nonprofits for them, and then I use science-backed research and data and learn more about the organizations. And the results are that they're effective, and it's a win-win for the people who are looking to give to organizations that they might not trust otherwise, and also for the organizations who are looking for funding and need that immediate monies.
Yes, influx of cash coming in. Yes.
Yeah, right. To be able to make that impact and make that difference.
That's awesome. Well, that's definitely needed. So for you, what's high impact for you in terms of virtual meetings? Are virtual meetings important for you? And if so, why?
Definitely. I mean, it's that personal connection. So a lot of it is really this, you're establishing relationships and you're cultivating them. And so being able to see people and get to know more of their personalities, there's only so much that you can learn about somebody just by their voice. I mean, you can tell when they're smiling through the line, but it's different. There's less interaction happening. And so it's, I think, a really good thing that we're doing a lot more virtual so that we can establish those connections when the world is still partly closed.
Exactly. And so that's great feedback. Okay. So guys in the comments, I want you to answer that question too. Let me know if you're old school or new school, or the top 3 words or hashtags you would use to describe yourself. Okay. Any top of mind questions, and I'm going to get to you here in a second, Lisa. Any top of mind questions, Carl or Catherine, that you have about what we talked about so far? Cameras, lighting, backgrounds, anything like that?
I think that one of the things that's really important for people to understand is, for instance, if you're looking at the camera, where you should be looking when you're talking to people so that they feel like they continue to be invested in your conversation. So, for instance, like, are you looking at yourself or are you looking at the camera? And it's so easy to look at yourself constantly, but you really should be looking at the camera and where that camera should be on your computer, or where your computer should be facing you.
That's a great point. So what do you do to help make sure you look at the camera?
What do I do?
Mm-hmm. What works for you?
To look at the top of my computer.
Yes.
It's hard because I see these movements happening, and so it's kind of, I'm going back and forth between the camera and the visuals on the actual screen. So I have to constantly remind myself to look at the camera.
That's a great point. And what I do sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this, but there's an option on Zoom in particular where you can hide self view, because it's distracting sometimes when I see myself. And so I just click the little hide self view button where I don't see myself. I only see the other person. But then still, to your point, Catherine, I can't just look at them, because if I look at them, I'm actually not looking at them because I'm not looking at the camera. The other way you could try and do that is take the Zoom window itself and get as close as you can to where the camera is, so that you look somewhat naturally as if you're looking at them, if you find yourself being distracted. If you can put a sticker there, a Post-it note, anything you can do to help remind yourself to continue to look at. It's like right now, see, I'm looking at you, right, in the audience. You feel like I'm looking at you, whereas if I look down, it's kind of distracting. I'm not. It's like it's hard for me to have that relationship if I'm not looking at you. Now, fortunately for me with this show, when I do this, I strategically do this. When I do this, it looks like I'm looking down at you guys, like I'm looking over at you guys on the main screen, right? So I can kind of cheat sometimes and look at my notes or whatever I need to do, and it still looks like I'm looking at you. And then, of course, I'm doing this, and I looks like I'm looking at the audience. So anyway, this little side, but I like that you mentioned that. Okay, so I have a question for you, Lisa.
One more thing,
Oh, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe you could share with people what are some of the best ways to clean the camera? Because I think even when people use their own personal cell phones, they don't think about cleaning the actual camera. So a lot of times people, they'll show themselves and it's kind of grainy or kind of distorted. So is there a good way to clean the camera but that it's not going to ruin the camera?
Now, those in the comments, let us know what you think. I want somebody else to answer this question besides me, because I'm probably not the best example, because sometimes I just use a little bit of hot breath and this micro cloth right here. You weren't expecting that, were you?
But actually now I am. Yeah.
I got one. I know the feeling. I don't know too much about the hot breath, Rolla, so I'm not going to admit that on the live.
I was expecting you to say you're going to use your shirt.
But I do have a micro cloth. The micro cloth, and I do have some lens cleaners that came with one of my cameras that I had. So yeah, I would probably suggest something like that. Definitely don't take a paper towel or tissue. Tissue doesn't help either. Micro cloth is probably the best way to go. Hey, Steven's here. So glad to have you back, Steven. He's a returning watcher here. So hello back to you. He says, this is something I could definitely use help on, but you guys are great up there. So thank you, Steven. He says, I think about that when I do Facebook Live. Oh, he does Facebook Live. That's awesome. He says, are you use the micro cloths with the spray as well as micro cloths? Yes. So he agrees with me. The micro cloth is the way to go. In a lot of cases, you don't have to use anything. I was kind of kidding about the hot breath. You could just use the micro cloth by itself in a lot of cases, and that will get it clean. My teammates are probably just like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. All right. So Lisa, my team keeps me in line. Lisa, I have a question for you. Would you rather be known for your intelligence or for your courage, but not both?
My intelligence. I mean, I don't know, because I'm pretty courageous. That's a terrible question.
No, it's a great question because it makes you think about what you really value the most.
Terrible question.
It's a great question. It's a tough question, though.
Say that I'm going to get you back for putting me on the spot like this on a live with such a terrible question. I will get you back. I will.
Steven says intelligence.
Always go with intelligence.
I say intelligence, but I know a couple of smart people, and it's not helping them.
Wow.
Interesting point. So which one are you going to go with, Lisa? Courage. Why courage?
In my personal opinion, you can have all of the intelligence in the world, but if you don't have the courage to move yourself forward, then you're stuck.
What? What'd you say? Let's see. I want to see what the audience says about that, because I'm not too sure. Well, they like it. Very good. Excellent. Yes, that was a great answer. In fact, I answered this question myself the other day, and I said courage because I will be willing to hire someone who's intelligent. I'll just go ahead. I'll just go ahead and do the thing, and I'll have that person help me do the thing. I actually have a person who runs our company here. She's the president. I think she's very intelligent. She's more intelligent than me. That's what we do. So
can I ask a question about your equipment? It might have been the part where I fell asleep.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I'm gonna ask it anyway.
I would fall asleep on me too anyway, so don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, and I was hoping that if I could just keep it together for during this live, but I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I'm just so sorry. But I wanted to ask you, how long does it take you to set up or do you just walk into a room where everything is set up? Because I'd like to have something where I use my captions, but I want it to be automatic. I just want to put the video in there and let the words run. So it's like a 2-part question.
Okay.
So how do you get your videos on there? Do you do a test to make sure your lighting is dialed in? And I guess the third question would be, how long does it take you to set everything up? I guess, yeah.
Okay, so you've already blown my brain. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to answer all 3 of those. No, I can't. All right, so let me just take the captions part first. There's 2 options. One of them I learned through Shanae's course is the Otter. I love Otter. Okay, Otter is my jam right now because right now, actually, you guys are in this meeting right now. So you can click on that link above. It says Otter. You can click on it.
It was just for you. I tried clicking on it.
It's for you too. and then there's a stream there. You can click on the stream link. You can put that in your browser. It may be a little hard for you, Lisa, because you're not on your computer. But if you're on your computer, you can take that link, and everything we say, it's typing it out. It's a transcript. So by the time this is over, the complete transcript of the session is there. So I can take that information, and for those of you who are taking notes, captions is generally going to be SRT format. So what you'll do is when you get done with this and you're ready to export this, you want to export it in SRT format. Vimeo, LinkedIn, Facebook, I don't care who it is. If they have closed caption available, they will accept SRT. Now, one of the things that you guys may have a question about is what is the difference between closed caption and what's commonly referred to as burned in or open captions. So closed captions means you can turn them on or off. So if you're on LinkedIn right now and you're watching this, or if you're on Facebook or YouTube or on all those platforms, you can turn the captions on or off as we're talking. That way it lets the user figure out if they want to have the captions or not. So those who are perhaps hearing impaired or those who just prefer having captions may leave theirs on, others may leave theirs off. The burning captions, the open captions may be more self-explanatory. You cannot control it. They're on the screen. They're burned into the video. So you can't turn them off. They're on all the time. Now, which one do you think is the most popular on social media right now? Any takers?
What? The burned.
I didn't catch that, Lisa. Say it again.
Would it be the burn because you can never turn them off?
Yes, that's more popular now. And part of the reason why I think it became more popular is, like, let's say, for example, on Instagram, for the longest time, you could not turn on captions. So you had to burn them into the video. Otherwise, people would never see the captions. And there's about an 80% more higher likelihood people will watch your video if you have captions. There are some people, and I found this out the hard way when we were doing our recruitment advertising. I would shadow nurses, and I would ask them, to look at the videos. And one of the things I found out pretty quickly is one lady told me, I don't even look at the videos if they don't have the captions on. Mm-hmm. I never listen to the sound, she says. It's like, what? Are you serious? She's like, yeah.
She tell you why?
It's just a preference. She just because a lot of times they're in places where they don't want to have the sound going. Maybe they're at work, maybe they're in a meeting, maybe it's just not conducive for them to listen to it. They just prefer to just watch them. So that was interesting. I think social media has probably had its hand in that, because
you could be strategic. Well, you could be strategic with that too. I had someone when I first came on. It was kind of like my guru with telling me about videos and everything. And with what I wrote and how I did my videos in the beginning, I wanted you to hear them. So we went back and forth for a while. It's like, yo, ain't nobody listening to this stuff on caption. You ain't got captions. They did the same thing as that, right? But I had not had an audience, and I was creating an audience. And I did not want it to slide past what I was saying. So I kind of like bypassed them. And I did my first 5-6 months without any caption. And my audience grew for the simple fact they were curious about what I was saying. So they couldn't read it, and they couldn't. So it does. It's a little bit more PC now because, of course, people, and I'm working with Junia, I don't know if you guys know her, working with her as far as getting the captions, because they are important. There are people with disabilities, and I'm just so grateful LinkedIn has added that, because it's kind of hard doing that with this show, especially when, I didn't know anything about Otter or that thing, but I did in the beginning to kind of set my who I was. And that once that went over, then kind of like I still do today, though. I sometimes forget, and it's just not an ignorance because I know about it. But it's kind of like you're doing so many things. I just put a video post, and I was like, oh, I didn't caption that. So that's why I was asking you about. That was one of my key things of what we need to do, because I do want to have my videos captioned. I do want it to be universal, where people is gravitating to it, especially now with a business. You don't want to alienate anyone. That could be a potential client or potential community. So.
Exactly.
I love captions too. And I love actually using Subtitle. It's really easy.
Right. So I wanted to ask
on your phone, and then once you upload it to Subtitle, you can make changes on your phone or on your PC. So it's just really easy.
What's the name of that again?
called Zubtitle, ZUB as in boy title.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This particular, I'm going to just show you guys an example here on my screen. And there's tons of different video software out there, but I'm just going to show you one example here. This one I can do. If I go to the captions section here, there's a caption section here. Make sure I bring it in close enough where you can see it.
I need to just for a second get these kids in the car, so I'm gonna I don't know how to make myself
just stop your video.
For a second.
Just click stop video and mute yourself. Okay, so on here on the left, if I hit captions here, if there were no captions, there's a button I can create. It says auto create captions. I would press that button and it takes a couple of minutes, but it will actually generate the captions based on the clip that I just recorded. So if I'm recording stuff with my phone, a lot of times I'll use a simple program like this. Now, if you really want to go next level with your editing, the best editing software, in my opinion, is Adobe Premiere Pro. I do have that. And if I'm doing a bigger project, I will use Adobe Premiere Pro. This is a little simple program I use called Wave. I can send you guys a link to it. But on wave.video, it's for when I do one of those quick selfie videos that like we do in like Sinead's program. We record a video. I will upload it to this. It auto creates the captions. And then I'll also I can do things like progress bars, right? So I'll do like enhancer, hit progress bar. I can say what the color of the progress bar is, and I can have a little bar. Let me show you. All right.
Is that what you use, Wallace, to be in your actual live?
No, I don't use this in my live. I'm in the middle. I actually do both. But you see that right there at the bottom? There's that little bar. That little blue bar. So you can create those little blue bars. People like those progress bars now. So I have burning captions here. I got the title at the top and I've got the progress bar. I can add those quickly within just a few minutes on a video. So again, there's just lots of tools out there. That's just one of them that I've been using recently to help me with my lives and stuff like that. So
in the count for me, please.
What's that?
What was it? Wave?
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna pop a link in here where guys can just go to it. In fact, Joanne, I'm gonna send this to you real fast. If you could pop that in the chat for me. If I'm not able to quickly get it, I'll send it afterwards. What we'll do is we'll pop it in the chat no later than just right after the live is over, and there'll be a link you can go to. It's wave.video is the address. Okay. So that's one option. Otter.ai is another option. I can send you a link for Otter.ai too. Hey, yeah, if you don't mind, I'll give you a little link we can put in there. Okay, any questions while looking this up? Any questions that we have about Otter?
That's pretty cool.
Or just captions in general? And I'm going to give you guys a little link. That way, if you just want to, throw me a bone.
Absolutely.
If you want to, I'll give you a link. So let's see here. Okay, I'll pop this in the chat here. Actually, let me give it to you, Joanne. And if you could put this in for me, I'm gonna put this here, and then you put it in the chat for me if you don't mind. That's my little link there. It's in the Zoom. I just put it in there. It's a little referral link. And actually, you get you get something for that. I think you get like 1 month. I think you get 1 month for that if you click on that link. And then I'm gonna if you guys can wait on the Wave one, there's a discount link I can give you for that one too. I think it's like 20% off, something like that. It's really cheap. I think it costs like $20 something a month. It's really inexpensive, and it's such a time saver for me. Even though I have Adobe Premiere Pro, which does all the editing I need, and I have Otter, which obviously does the captions. I actually don't need Wave. It's just a time saver. I could just quickly jump on there, edit the video, and then post it. Because for me, we have an editing process. So if I actually want to get an editor, unless I want to do it myself, I submit it to my video manager. He goes through and reviews it, and then he sends it to our editing team. They edit it. They get it back to us. There may be stuff we need to change. So it's a few days process. So like if we're in this program, like, yeah, can you record this video today and have it posted? I'm like, that would take days. So that's why I had to find something that was just really quick and easy that I could do. Okay. Does anybody have any questions right now that they want to have? And by the way, I know we started late. Did you guys have a hard stop here? Or you have a few more minutes? It's up to you.
Yeah,
I'm okay. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, ask a
Whenever you
question
get a
and tell us
chance.
what you do.
Oh, okay. My business is I work overnights and I take care of hospice patients. And that's what I do right now to pay certain bills. But I am transitioning out of that because I have a business where I help single moms become momapreneurs, and then I have an Airbnb business, and so that's what I do. I want to be full time helping moms become entrepreneurs and Airbnb and no more overnight shifts. Even though I love my patients. So
Yeah.
that's me. That's what I do.
And one thing I
Um,
just want to say this about you. I want to brag on you a little bit. So, some people, they start a business and they quit their job, right? But what Lisa's doing, she's literally working like 100 hours a week. She's a mom and she's doing this business. So if you see her nodding off, don't judge, because this lady is working like 24/7.
yeah.
so embarrassed.
Yeah, I feel you with that. I feel you with that.
So
Working.
I got mad respect. I got mad respect for that. So go ahead, Lisa.
Aw, thank you. Thank you, Rollis. Rollis is always so nice to me. I appreciate that, Rollis. Thank you.
Yeah, man, respect.
But
I'm going to talk about you. Stay woke in class.
I know, man. I was so mad. I was like, oh, I feel it coming because I'm not moving, please. And then all I heard was Lisa. I was like, oh, that's Rollis's voice. Oh no, no. So yeah, so I apologize again. But I guess if it's gonna happen, it's good it happens with you guys and Rollis, right? Yeah. I'm really curious about. Okay, so we have so I'd like because that's one of the things I noticed about Rollis, the last 21 day challenge we did with Shanae Murray, is that his screens were so and then, he's real professional. And I know it's because of those screens. Like, I know if you didn't have those screens, you'd be like, what's up, Lisa? What's up? What's up, everybody? But in all seriousness, like, your screens are beautiful, and I always feel like my eye is always drawn because we use the blue ones in our meetings every morning, and I think, ooh. So how do I know? Okay, so would you suggest a whole screen with my logo on it, or you think that's too gaudy?
I think it depends on you. I mean, it depends on the situation, the setting. Now, here's one thing that you'll see certain people do. They use to compensate, right? So for me, and I'll just be honest with you. So for me, I feel like in some cases, I feel like just me alone is not good enough. So I got to add a look extra flair. So for me, it's the backgrounds. You may have something else that where you feel like, you know what, I'm not enough for whatever this case is. So I'm going to add this extra flair. Do I really need the backgrounds? Probably not. But I just like it. I like it, and it just adds extra flair. So I'm just being transparent here. That's why you see me with these backgrounds, because I do like them, and I think it is to some people it is impressive. So I don't know if that.
Oh no, I like them very much. I like them very, very much.
It is, and it says something. It says something about you and how you feel about things as well. Sort of like you have a very, very attractive lady naturally, but she enhances herself with putting on, makeup or something like that. It's about how she feels in the essence of what it is, because you can tell a woman, they're beautiful all the time, but it's how they feel about it, and it's just the same way you do with the screen. I just said that because we got two lovely ladies on, but
That's true. There you go. See,
it's the same essence as that. Like, because I see my background and I like it, but I'm looking to I want it to pop. Like, that's about the coolest, trendiest word I get, that I can come up with, because I want it to, when someone comes on with me. I mean, that has
right,
become my signature.
right.
But I mean, like those backgrounds, they become your signature. So
Yeah.
now when someone sees Rollis, like, your dynamic backdrops is like, that's head over heels over what everybody else is doing, and it's just good to see. So you just asked for that, even though I know when you did that swing around, you had a whole production company right there on your thing. And my game is not like that. I just got a Mac and an iPad, but I'm growing, brother. I'm growing.
Hey, but you know what? Everything I'm showing you, you guys can do. You guys can do everything I'm showing you. So, like, for instance, the virtual backgrounds. By the way, Steven's guys, he's rolling with the comments. Let me just, before I get too far without acknowledging him, because he's putting some good time in these comments. He says, "Hey, it takes courage to do that kind of delegation. I bet you got to study it a lot to understand what you're talking about. And it also takes courage to say no, and being the new guy on a decision that can seem as though you don't have courage. That's an intellectual. Interesting. He says, do you know how to do caption on Facebook Live? I would imagine it's the same way we do captions on any of the other platforms. There's like, for instance, it depends on what software you're using. Like I use Restream. You can say if you want to allow captions or not. You can also use software to create the live captions like in Otter. But the platforms like Facebook Live, YouTube, they actually have auto captions. As long as you say it's okay when you're putting it out, they will create the auto captions for you live on the broadcast. Now, it's not 100% accurate because it's live, it's AI driven, it's going to make mistakes, but that's okay. They'll be able to get the gist of it based on the context. So it's usually okay if you don't have perfect comment. It's Restream. Sorry, Stephen. Restream. 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 I can send you guys. Let me send you guys a link on that. In fact, I'm going to give Joanne a link that she can give to you guys. Do you have that, Joanne? I think I gave it to you before. Joanne, if you don't mind pulling that up, I think it's called like live stream. I think it's like restream.io.livestream, but you get a discount or a free time. I don't remember what it is you get. No, I think it's $10. Yes, $10 off if you upgrade, but Restream has a free account and it's a free forever account. So you can create an account on Restream for free. But if you use the code I give you, you do upgrade, you get another $10 off. So Joanne, if you could send that, I'm not able to pull it because I'm actually in the live right at the moment. So I'm not able to share it. At the very least, I'll be able to share it at the end of this broadcast, if that will be helpful. But to answer your question, I think, Lisa, you can start with what you have. As long as your Mac or your computer is fairly recent version, you should be able to just get even if it's not green screen, even if you just have like a plain background that is contrasting your skin color and what you're wearing, it's going to be easier for it to tell what's your background and what's you. But if you have a little extra money to invest, you can buy a green screen, the actual curtain, this physical curtain, you can buy for about $20, and then you just need to hold it up with something. Now you can usually get the kits for probably about maybe $100 or so, maybe $75 for a full kit. You can also buy the ones that fit on your chair. They have those. Mm-hmm. And then for my staff, I bought the ones that are the T-bar kinds, where it basically has one pole in the middle, and then it has this thing over the top, and it holds up the green screen. So plan on investing about $70 for a tripod and the green screen. Or if you have something to hold it up, just spend about $20 on a green screen, and that will give you those perfect backgrounds as long as you've got good lighting. All right. Any questions before we hold up? Because I'm coming up against a hard stop. Any questions you guys have? Any things you want to share? Any knowledge you want to share before we wrap up? Catherine, you want to get us going?
One last thing, I was going to say, actually, this is to Lisa. She was talking about some of the colors and with her logo and whatnot. It's always great to be able to put your logo in so that people can see it and they start associating you with your logo. And it's just something that's very consistent. And then also look at the psychology of colors. There are certain colors that make people feel a certain way. So if you have those colors in your brand, for instance, like say blue can make people feel more relaxed. So if you're going to have kind of a stressful type of situation, then maybe blue is the right color for you, and you already have that in your branding. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind for not only you, Lisa, but everybody out there who's listening too, is that colors can make people feel a certain way, and you can definitely have more response from people based on the color.
Yes, that is so true. Yes, I'm so glad you said that. And there's a book made by Robert Cialdini. The name of the book is called Persuasion, but it's a follow-up to his book called Influence. And he talks about setting the stage for helping people to make buying decisions. And sometimes how you set the stage strategically will make a determination on how likely you are to close that sale. And so there's lots of things that play into it. Certainly colors is one of them. There's a lot of different things. So those who are watching, if you just wanted another idea for a book, that's a good book Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, Cialdini. Okay, thank you for that, Kathy. You've been amazing today. Thank you for being on our panel today. And then Carl, do you have anything you wanted to share?
No, I just appreciate everything. I've got a lot here on my notebook because I'm always taking notes. So get some good stuff here, and you give me some great information. Now I have some more homework to do beside the law homework I'm already doing. Thank you, Rollins.
Well, spoken like a great attorney. A great attorney takes great notes. Our president is trained as an attorney, and I tell you, she's amazing. It's stuff that I forgot I even said I was going to do or thought about doing, and she'll remind me of it 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. So, thank you for that. Okay, Lisa, what about you?
I just appreciate you having this live stream. It really helps out a new person like me to understand, to be as professional as possible. And sometimes you see that, but you just don't know which tools to go to. And it's something, to be honest with you, I've always wanted to ask you about. But as soon as I get off of our morning Zoom, I mean, life starts fast and hard.
Yes.
And just moving really quick. And I'm like, man, once in a blue, like twice a week, I'd be like, man, I need to ask Rollins about his screen and everything. Because I knew you had it together. So I appreciate you having this and inviting me.
So here's what we'll do. If there's a certain background you've seen me have that you really like, send me a DM to describe what it is you like. I will send you that background, and then you can plug that in your own Zoom.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
And Joanne, she dropped in the chat. She dropped in the Restream link. If you go to that Restream link, it doesn't cost you any more because you use the link. It just actually will save you $10 if you upgrade it. But if you're not going to ever upgrade, you can just get you a free account, no problem. But you can use that link, and you can sign up with a Restream account, and get started with your live streaming. So thanks all three of you for being on today. I just want to double check and make sure that our audience really appreciated it. And it looks like they do. So that's great. That's fantastic.
I always think he's talking about real people, and I see them. I'm like, oh, okay.
And before we head out, so Steven says, I'm talking to someone that says that using the girl filter on Facebook is the best filter. You don't know anything about filters on LinkedIn or on other sites, do you? Or what? You guys know about filters? I don't know about those filters.
The filters, yeah, they normally with Snap. I've used them with Snap on some of the lives, but you have to download Snap camera, and then you can put in the filters. They got millions of filters, but they're like, you probably seen the commercial where they make the funny faces and turn into the, that's at least that's what I understand them to mean, because they do have a lot of those.
Yeah, I don't really use them a lot because most of the meetings I have are business related. I guess it would be kind of cute to have them every now and then before for the meetings. I don't know how well those will go over, but it is a good suggestion. Okay, Raj says awesome persuasion. So he's got the book here. This is a revolutionary way to influence and persuade by Robert Cialdini. So he has, in case you guys don't want to see that, he's got the name there. That's the correct name and title. Thank you for that. Joanne says great show. Well, thank you. Great show for everyone. All of it. All of us together helped to make this a great show. Thank you. Let's say bye to everyone who's in the audience and comments.
I'm gonna DM you.
And guys, if you're watching the replay, feel free and definitely say hello, even if you're watching the replay. We're gonna watch your comments later. Okay. All right, guys. Okay. Thanks for being on today.
Bye. Thank you, Rollins.
Talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm going to trim the video now.